Hi guys, this is Vineet, and in today's video we will talk about string and binary data types in SQL Server, and this is part 4 of this video series. In today's video we will cover the NCHAR and NVARCHAR data types as mentioned in the red characters here. So we'll talk about that. And guys, if you are new to this channel or if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I would request you to please go ahead and do so right away. There's a subscribe button below this video. Click on that subscribe button. It will give you a bell icon. Click on that bell icon, select all notifications to get notifications regarding all my future and upcoming videos, and also notifications related to the videos that I am releasing on the topic string and binary data types these days. And this is part 4 of this video series, so I hope everything related to string and binary data type will be covered here today. If you haven't watched the previous 3 parts of this video series, please go ahead and do so. I would highly recommend that before simply starting with this part 4 of this video series. Please watch the previous 3 parts if you have not done so. And guys, I hope you must have subscribed to my channel by now. If not, please go ahead and do so right away. I'm giving you 5 seconds. Please go ahead and subscribe quickly. So alright, I hope you must have subscribed to my channel by now. Guys, in case you want to make any donations or offerings to us via UPI, then you may scan the code on the right hand side to make the payment. You can use any of the UPI based apps like Google Pay or Phone Pay. So there is a code given on the right hand side which is my GPay code. You can scan that code using any of your UPI apps and make payments to us, basically to support our channel. Else the other way, if you want to make donations, is to go to the following link, which is the topmate.io link. You can type this link as is in your browser like Google Chrome or Edge and press enter. After that it will take you to my topmate.io page. Through that page you can make donations to us as well. And also guys, in case you want to contact us, you can contact us on my email address, which is vermavane@gmail.com. You can contact us for the below requirements which are given here on the right hand side. In case you need a copy of notes for any of the topics discussed during the video, you can send me an email on my email address. A nominal fee has to be paid if you want to obtain notes for any particular topic. It depends upon how lengthy the notes are. The fee will be decided according to that. So in case you need a copy of the notes, do send me an email on my email address. The other requirement for which you can contact me is to schedule one-on-one calls with me, which will be paid calls. So in case you want to schedule one-on-one calls with me, you can send an email to me so that I will help you in scheduling one of the calls. And in case you want to get SQL Server Coaching, you can also contact me on my email address. Some of the other requirements are if you need coaching on any particular SQL topic, or if you need some analysis of Transact-SQL code, or if you want to collaborate for any content creation or brand promotion, you can definitely send us an email on my email address and I will respond back to you. So let me take you to notes quickly related to this video. So today we are discussing about the NCHAR and NVARCHAR data types. So if we talk about NCHAR data type, it's a fixed size data type and it's a character data type of a fixed size, also known as NCHAR. And if we talk about NVARCHAR, it's a variable size character data type. And basically these data types are used to store the Unicode characters. Now in SQL Server 2013 or later, when a supplementary character enabled collation is used, these data types store full range of Unicode character data and use the UTF-16 character encoding. So in addition to using these data types, and if you are using SQL Server version 2013 or later, and if you are also using the supplementary character enabled collation, so we will talk about collations later. Basically a collation stores a particular character set on a code page. So basically, in short, collation basically store all the characters available for a particular region like Korea, Chinese, India. So collation is that. So when a supplementary character enabled collation is used along with these data types, and if we are using SQL Server version 2013 or later, these data types can store full range of Unicode character data, and these character data will use the UTF-16 character encoding. Now if we use any non-supplementary character based collations, or if non-SC based collation is specified with these data types, then these data types store only the subset of character data supported by the UCS2 character encoding. So if a non-SC collation is used, this encoding is used, which is UCS2. Otherwise, if we are using a supplementary character enabled collation, then the character stored inside these data types will support the UTF-16 character encoding. Now let's talk about the syntax and usage of these data types. So if we talk about NCHAR, it supports a parameter which is n, which is the size of the character data in bytes. Again, it's not the number of characters that will get stored, but it's the size of the string data in bytes, I would say. So NCHAR is used for storing the fixed size string data. And basically, if we talk about n, which is within the bracket, it defines the string size in bytes or byte pairs. Here in NCHAR data type, it will be a byte pair. So n defines the string size in byte pair and must be a value from 1 through 4000. Now n defines the string size in byte pairs basically. So there will be a pair of byte to hold each and individual character, and the value of n must be between 1 through 4000. Alright, otherwise we have seen earlier the value for n was 1 through 8000 for character data or char n if we talk about. But yeah, because here we are using byte pairs, so that value range has reduced to half, which is 1 through 4000. It's not storing 1 through 8000 anymore. Now it is storing 1 through 4000 because we are using the byte pairs. Now the storage is 2 times the n bytes. So the storage required is 2 times the n bytes. So if the value of n, for example, if the value of n is here 4000, the storage required will be 2 into n byte. 2 into 4000 bytes. So here it has mentioned the storage size is 2 times n bytes. So if the value of n is 4000, the storage required will be 8000 bytes. Now for UCS2 encoding, where we are using a non-supplementary character based collations. Now for UCS2 encoding, the storage size if 2 times n bytes. Now it's not if, it is basically. So here we are talking about the, sorry guys. So here we are talking about the UCS2 encoding. So for if you are using UCS2 based character set, the storage size required is 2 times the n bytes. That's the default, right? And the number of characters that can be stored is also n. All right. And so for example, if we are taking 4000, it can store 4000 characters, but yeah, the storage required will be 8000 bytes. And here we are talking in terms of the UCS2 encoding if it is being used. Now let's talk about the UTF-16 encoding. For the UTF-16 encoding, so if we are using UTF-16 based encoding, the storage size will still be 2 times the n bytes, but the number of characters that can be stored might be smaller than n, because here we are using the supplementary character set, and the supplementary characters use 2 byte pairs. Alright, so the non-SC based character set use the single byte pairs, whereas the supplementary character set use the 2 byte pair, also called the surrogate pairs. Alright, now if we talk about the ISO synonym for NCHAR, what is the synonym for NCHAR? It is also known as national char or national character. So these are the ISO synonyms for NCHAR data type. Now let's talk about the NVARCHAR data type, which can be used to store the variable size strings. And the parameters which can be passed is n or max, right? And the value of n, if we talk about, it defines the string size in byte pairs and can be from 1 through 4000. Now we can also use the max parameter along with this data type. So max basically indicates the maximum storage that can be utilized. And the maximum storage is 2 raised to the power 31 minus 1 characters, and which is also equivalent to 2 gigabytes. So if we resolve this equation, it comes down to 2 gigabytes. So if we use max, the maximum amount of string that we can store is 2 gigabytes in byte size. Now the storage is 2 times the n bytes plus 2 bytes. So if we take value of n as 4000, the storage required will be 2 into n, which is 8000, plus 2. So 8002 bytes will be required. And if we talk particularly about the UCS2 encoding here, which does not use the special characters, the storage size is 2 times n bytes plus 2 bytes, and the number of characters that can be stored is also n. Alright, so here we are talking in terms of UCS2 encoding. So whatever value we specify for n, like 4000, it can store 4000 characters. But the storage required will be 2 into 4000 bytes plus 2, so 8002 bytes will be required. Now, if we talk particularly about the UTF-16 encoding, the storage size is still 2 times, which is n bytes plus 2. So 2 times n bytes plus 2. This is the storage. The storage required will be same, but the number of characters that will get stored will be little less. So here it is mentioned. However, the number of characters that can be stored might be smaller than n because supplementary characters are being used. And they use 2 byte pairs, also called the surrogate pairs. And if we talk about the ISO synonym for NVARCHAR, the synonym for this is national char varying and national character varying. These are the synonyms for NVARCHAR data type. Now let's talk about some of the common misconception in regards to the value of n here. It doesn't always represents the number of character that will be stored, right? It basically refers to the size of the string in bytes, right? So that is one of the common misconception, basically to think that with the NCHAR n and NVARCHAR n, the n defines the number of characters. However, in NCHAR n and NVARCHAR n, the n defines the string length in byte pairs. So the value of n can be 0 to 4000. So n doesn't necessarily specify the number of characters that a variable will hold, which is of NCHAR data type or NVARCHAR n data type. It basically denotes that string of length, size of the string length. All right, and n has a value range from 0 to 4000, and n never defines the number of characters that can be stored, right? And this concept is similar to a definition of char and varchar. Now this misconception occurs because when using the characters defined for the Unicode range 0 to 65535, one character can be stored per each byte pair. All right, so this results from this misconception that n will store the exact number of character whatever we define the value of n. The variable will store that many number of characters. This misconception occurs because when we use the character defined in the Unicode range, which is Unicode range 0 to 65535, one character can be stored per each byte pair. For example, in a column defined as ncat 10, the database engine can store 10 characters that use 1 byte pair, which can store Unicode character range from 0 to 65535. But fewer than 10 characters when using a 2 byte pair, like if we are using the UTF-16 based encoding. It will use 2 byte pairs, and the number of characters stored in that variable will be less. And basically the 16 byte characters or 16 byte Unicode characters also support characters from the Unicode range 65,536 to 1,11,411. This is the range supported by the UTF-16 based Unicode characters. Now if we don't specify the value of n in the data definition or a variable declaration, the default length is taken as 1. And if we are using n in a particular function like cast or convert function, and if we don't specify the value of n, the default value of n is taken as 30. Now if you use nchar or nvarchar, we recommend that you use nchar when the sizes of the column data entries are consistent. Now if your column have the data entries which are of similar length, we would recommend you to use nchar. But if the length of the entries in a particular column are varying considerably, then we would recommend the usage of nvarchar data type. And we can also use nvarchar max when the sizes of the column data entries vary considerably and the string length might exceed 4000 byte pairs. So in those cases, if we know our string length will exceed very much, more than 4000 byte pairs, which is more than 8000 bytes, then we would recommend using the nchar or nvarchar max data types. Now sysname is a system supplied user defined data type. So here we are talking about another data type, which is sysname. It's a system supplied user defined data type that is functionally equivalent to NVARCHAR 128. So in place of NVARCHAR 128, we can use the system data type. And it's a user-defined data type or system-supplied user-defined data type. The limitation of this data type is that it is not nullable. We cannot store null values with a variable declared with the system data type. And system is used to reference database object names basically. So wherever we have to reference the database object names, we use this particular data type. We will show you its usage later. Not in this video. This video does not contain any demos, so keep that in mind. And objects that use NCHAR or NVARCHAR are assigned the default collation of the database. So whatever the database default collation of the database, and any variable declared with the NCHAR or NVARCHAR data type will use that same database collation, unless we specify a specific collation using the collate clause. And if the there's a setting set ANSI padding. This setting is always on for NCHAR and NVARCHAR data types, and set ANSI padding off doesn't apply to the NCHAR and NVARCHAR data types. So it always has to be on, or always assumed to be on for these two particular data types. Now we have to prefix a Unicode character string constants with the letter N to basically signal UCS2 or UTF-16 input. If we need to indicate to the system whether the string literally you are taking, whether it's a Unicode string or a normal string, we need to indicate with the value N if it's a Unicode string. Basically to signal to the system that we are using the UCS2 based encoding, or whether we are using the UTF-16 based encoding, depending upon whether SC collation is used or not. So it depends if we are using SC collation or special character collations. UTF-16 will be assumed, otherwise UCS2 character dataset will be assumed if we are using non-SC based collations. Now if we don't use N prefix, or without the N prefix to a character string, the string is converted to the default code page of the database that might not recognize the certain characters. So if we don't specify the N prefix, whatever string you're specifying will convert it to the default code page of the database, and this default page might not recognize certain characters. Now in SQL Server 2019 and later versions, what we can do is we can use the UTF-8 based collations. These can be used, and the default code page is capable of storing the Unicode UTF-8 character set. So we can use these collations, and the default code page of the database now can store the Unicode UTF-8 character set, and this feature is available in SQL Server 2019 onwards, not before that. Now when you prefix a string constant with the letter N, the implicit conversion results in a UCS2 or UTF-8, not UTF-8 but UTF-16 string if the constant to convert doesn't exceed the max length for the NVARCHAR string data type 4000. Now it depends upon the length of the string whether it will be converted into UCS2 or UTF-16 base string. So unless your string is exceeding the string data, which is 8000 bytes or 2 byte single byte pair of 4000 characters, unless your string is exceeding that limit, your string will convert into the UCS2 based characters or UTF-16 based character strings. Otherwise, the implicit conversion results in a large value NVARCHAR max. So if your string is too big, the implicit conversion will happen and your string will get converted into NVARCHAR max. It will utilize the NVARCHAR max data types in those scenarios. Now for each non-null varchar max or NVARCHAR max, so here we are considering the non-null entries which are not null, and we are considering both the data types varchar max and NVARCHAR max. If any columns are defined using these data types, this requires 24 bytes of additional fixed allocation. So 24 additional fixed allocation is required, and this allocation basically count against the 8060 byte row limit during the sort operation. So as we need a 24 bytes of additional storage to store each record defined with varchar max or NVARCHAR max data type, sometimes this limit results in more than 8060 byte row, right? And this is basically the limit. 8060 byte row limit is for the sort operation. This is a limit imposed by sort operation. Your row length shouldn't be greater than 8060 bytes in case you want to perform sort operation on that particular row. Now these additional bytes, which is 24 bytes, can create an implicit limit to a number of non-null varchar max and nvarchar max columns in a table. So the number of columns which are of nchar, nvarchar max or varchar max which can be utilized in a table or which can be included in a table, there's a limit to that. So basically row size should not increase 8060 bytes. And it depends upon the number of varchar max or nvarchar max columns that you are using in a table. Basically, if your row length exceeds the 8060 byte limit, basically we don't get any special error. So no special error is provided when a table is created with the data that is having a row more than 8060 bytes. So we don't get any errors during the table creation beyond the usual warning that the maximum row size has exceeded the allowed maximum limit of 8060 bytes. So we just get a warning, but no errors are raised. Or maybe we get maybe we get some warnings at the time of data insertion as well, that your row limit has exceeded, right? And the large row size, basically, which is larger than 8060 bytes, can cause errors such as error 512 that users might not anticipate during the normal operations. Two example of operations where we can encounter these type of error, like error 512 or 512, and these operations are cluster index key update. Basically, whenever we are updating an index or creating an index, we can get this error if our row size is increasing 8060 bytes, or maybe if we are performing a sort on the full column set. In those cases as well, we can get these error messages, but not during the table creation or row insertion. Now let me see if I can cover the other data types. This section is small, so let me cover it here as well. So we are done with the NCHAR and NVARCHAR data types. Now let's talk about the Ntext, which is used for storing the Unicode text data of larger length, and we have a text data type and we have image data types as well to store the binary data. Now fixed and variable length data types for storing large non-Unicode and Unicode characters, and for storing the binary data as I have described. So Ntext is used for storing the large Unicode data, text is used for storing the large data basically, and image is used for storing the binary data or large binary data. Now Unicode data uses a Unicode UCS2 character set by default, and the Ntext and text and image data types will be removed in the future versions of SQL Server. So if we talk about these three data types, these will get removed in the future versions of SQL Server. So we recommend you to avoid using these data types in new development work, and plan to modify the existing application if they are using these data types. We instead recommend the usage of nvarchar max or varchar max data type, and there's also one more data type which is var binary max that can also be utilized. Basically limit the usage of these data types, and we would suggest altogether ignore the usage of these data types. And also, if your applications are using these data types, try to modify your applications and change your data types to nvarchar max, varchar max or var binary max. Now let me show you the syntax usage for the Ntext. It basically refers to a variable length Unicode character data with a maximum string length of 2 raised to the 30 minus 1, which is these many number of bytes it can store. And the storage size in bytes is 2 times the string length what is center. So whatever if we declare a variable using this data type, and whatever string length do we enter, the storage length required will be double the number of characters, or double the length of the string size, that whatever string size we are entering, the storage will consume 2 times the string length that is entered. And the ISO synonym, if we talk about for Ntext, is the national text. That's the ISO synonym. And let's talk about the text data types. And basically these are also variable length, and this data type can be used to store the variable length non-Unicode data in the code page of the server, and with the maximum string length of 2 raised to the 31 minus 1, which is this many number of bytes. And when the code page uses double byte characters, the storage is still this many number of bytes. Depending upon the character string, the storage size may be less than this many number of bytes. So whatever be the length of your string you're storing in a variable declared using this data type, the storage cell will depend upon the length of your string. All right. Now let's talk about image data type, which is variable length binary data. This can be used to store the variable length binary data from 0 through 2 to the power 31 minus 1, which is equivalent to these many bytes. And following functions and statement can be used with Ntext and text or the image data. And these are some of the functions we can use: data length, read text, set text size, update text, write text, data length. Data length was already discussed. So pat index and substring, text pointer, text valid. These are some of the functions which can be used with these three data types. Guys, now let me discuss about a warning over here. Now, whenever you drop columns using the deprecated, so we are talking about the columns that are using this deprecated data types that are Ntext data type or the text data type or image data type. And if any of the columns are using these deprecated data types, and if we are trying to drop these columns, the cleanup of the deleted data occurs as a serialized operation on all rows. So basically, even though you delete a particular column or drop a particular column, the cleanup of the data in the background occurs as a serialized operation. So the cleaning up occurs in a serializable manner, and this cleanup can require a large amount of time whenever you drop a column that are using these data types. So the cleanup in the background will require a large amount of time because it's a serialized process. Now, whenever you drop an Ntext column in a table with lots of rows, so if you are using Ntext data type for any particular column, and if your table is having a lot of rows, or if you have so many entries under that particular column, or so many rows data available for that particular column using the Ntext type. But what we suggest is you can update, first you should update the Ntext column to null value first, then you can drop the column. So instead of directly dropping any Ntext columns or other data type columns like text or image columns, don't directly drop them. First, make the data stored in that column to null first, and then you can definitely drop the column. And you can run this option with parallel operations and make it much faster. So guys, we are done with this video. Today we have discussed upon the Ntext, text and image data types. We have shown you the syntax as well. And prior to that, I have discussed the other data types, including the NVARCHAR and NCHAR data types, which are fixed size and variable, used for storing the fixed size character string or variable size character strings or Unicode character strings to be specific. So guys, I hope you like this video. If you really like this video, please click on the like button below this video. And guys, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, I would recommend you to please go ahead and do so right away. There's a subscribe button below this video. Click on that subscribe button. It will give you a bell icon. Click on that bell icon, select all notifications to get notifications regarding all my future and upcoming videos, including the videos that I'm creating on the data types these days. So guys, with this video, our section on string and binary data type is finished now. Now in our next video series, we will try to cover the data types. We'll talk about the data types here. Let me show you some of the material I'm preparing. So we'll talk about data types and we'll start discussing about data types, then we move on to constants. Right next, we will talk about the data types, constant conversions, any non-deterministic conversions, and precedence, synonyms, precision, scalar length. We will talk about cursors. We'll talk about row versions, equal variant table, and unique identifiers. So these are some of the items that we will cover in our upcoming videos, probably 10 or 15 more videos. So stay tuned. Please subscribe if you haven't yet already subscribed, right? Please go ahead and do so quickly. Let me give you 5 seconds to subscribe. Please go ahead and do so right away. So, guys, I hope you must have subscribed by now. So that's good. Guys, in case you want to make any donations or offerings to us via UPI, then you may scan the code on the right hand side to make the payment. You can use any of the UPI based apps like Google Pay or Phone Pay. So there's a code given on the right hand side which is my GPay code. You can scan that code using any of your UPI apps and make payments to us, basically to support our channel. Else, the other way, if you want to make donations, is to go to the following link, which is the topmate.io link. You can type this link as is in your browser like Google Chrome or Edge and press enter. After that, it will take you to my topmate.io page. Through that page, you can make donations to us as well. And also, guys, in case you want to contact us, you can contact us on my email address, which is vermavane@gmail.com. You can contact us for the below requirements which are given here on the right hand side. In case you need a copy of notes for any of the topics discussed during the video, you can send me an email on my email address. A nominal fee has to be paid if you want to obtain notes for any particular topic. It depends upon how lengthy the notes are. The fee will be decided according to that. So in case you need the copy of the notes, do send me an email on my email address. The other requirement for which you can contact me is to schedule one-on-one calls with me, which will be paid calls. So in case you want to schedule one-on-one calls with me, you can send an email to me so that I will help you in scheduling one of the calls. And in case you want to get SQL Server Coaching, you can also contact me on my email address. Some of the other requirements are if you need coaching on any particular SQL topic, or if you need some analysis of Transact-SQL code, or if you want to collaborate for any content creation or brand promotion, you can definitely send us an email on my email address and I will respond back to you. Do post in your comments, guys. We eagerly wait for your comments and would love to read the same. Also, guys, share this video with your friends. If you have a good network of friends, please share my videos with them, as they may also require some help in this area. And if you feel my videos are really useful for them, you can share my videos with them. There's a share button that comes below each and every video, through which you can share my videos with your friends over any of the social media platforms. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time today on this video, and you have a wonderful day ahead. Thanks.